Iran, America,
in Iran is a disgrace.
and Israel.
He targeted Iran's main enrichment facility.
But the real question is, why are these two nations such bitter enemies today?
Israel launched multiple strikes on Iran.
There are 57 Islamic countries in the world, but why is it that America and Israel keep going after only one country, Iran? To understand the roots of this war between Iran and America, we have to go back in history, all the way to World War II.
We shall never surrender!
During World War II, almost every country in the world had only two choices. Either stand with the British Empire, or stand with Hitler. Most countries chose the British Empire, but Iran's Shah shocked the world. Instead of supporting Britain, he shook hands with Hitler's Germany. Very quickly, Iran and Germany became extremely close, and this made the British Empire furious. Britain saw this as a direct threat, so from every side, British forces invaded Iran and rapidly began taking control of the country. The Shah of Iran realized he could not win. Within days, he surrendered to the British Empire and begged them to save his throne. But Britain had one condition. You must step down from the throne, and your young son will become the next king of Iran. That young son was Reza Shah Pahlavi, a ruler the British believed they could control. And from the very beginning, this new Shah admired the West more than anything. He wanted Iran to become completely westernized. He wanted Iranian people to dress like Europeans, party like Europeans, and abandon their old traditions. But there was one major obstacle in his way: Islam. So slowly, step by step, he began trying to remove Islam from Iranian society. Hijab restrictions were imposed. Mosques and madrasas were shut down. Islamic scholars were suppressed. Bars, alcohol, parties, and Western culture spread throughout the country. There even came a time when Iran, an Islamic nation, began exporting alcohol to the world. The Shah truly believed he was modernizing Iran.
I mean to be, as you say, the king of kings.
He even advised Saudi Arabia's King Faisal, "You are living in the past. Saudi Arabia should also become liberal, just like the West." But King Faisal refused. Ironically, today Saudi Arabia tells Iran to become more liberal, but modern Iran refuses to listen. As the Shah pushed Iran further away from Islam, the Islamic scholars of Iran slowly turned against him. Inside mosques and madrasas, speeches against the Shah began spreading across the country, and among all those scholars, one name rose above the rest: Ayatollah Khomeini. Khomeini and his followers began inspiring people to rise against the Shah. His speeches spread like wildfire.
Khomeini, they cried, we're waiting for you.
His influence became so powerful that eventually the Shah arrested him and permanently exiled him from Iran. Khomeini moved to Iraq, and there, a young Iraqi leader carefully watched everything he did: Saddam Hussein. Saddam saw Khomeini's growing popularity and became deeply afraid. One day, he even told the Shah of Iran, "If you want, I can quietly have Khomeini assassinated." For Saddam Hussein, murder was nothing unusual, but the Shah laughed it off. "This old man can do nothing to me." That was the biggest mistake of his life. From exile in Iraq, Khomeini began recording speeches onto cassette tapes. Those tapes were secretly smuggled into Iran and spread everywhere. People listened to them in homes and markets, in mosques, and slowly millions of Iranians began seeing Khomeini as their true leader instead of the Shah. Still, overthrowing the Shah was not easy. He had a massive military and full support from the superpower America.
America gave us generous and valuable financial and military assistance.
In Washington, the Shah was seen as America's favorite ally in the Muslim world. But then at the height of his power, the Shah made a catastrophic mistake: the flames of Persia. To revive the glory of the ancient Persian Empire, the Shah organized one of the biggest and most expensive parties the world had ever seen. World leaders, celebrities, royalty, everyone was invited. A luxury city was built in the middle of Iran's deserts. Hundreds of limousines were imported. Food was served on golden plates, and the Shah sat on a golden throne, acting as if he himself was the reborn emperor of the Persian Empire. But while the Shah celebrated an unimaginable luxury, ordinary Iranians struggled to afford basic food. People began asking themselves, "We are starving while our king eats from gold." And suddenly, support for Khomeini exploded. Khomeini openly declared that the Shah was the Yazid of the modern age. His speeches became stronger, harsher, more revolutionary. Eventually, the Shah realized something terrifying. Only one force in the world could still save him now, America. So he turned desperately toward the Western powers.
To you, our deep gratitude.
America, France, and other countries held urgent meetings. But at the end, they gave him a brutal answer. No one can save you from Khomeini anymore. And with that, the Shah fled Iran forever. The moment Khomeini heard the Shah had escaped, he returned to Iran after 14 long years in exile. What happened next shocked the world. Millions flooded the streets to welcome him. Around 7 million people gathered, one of the largest welcomes in human history. And as soon as Khomeini stepped onto Iranian soil, new slogans echoed across the nation. Death to America. Death to Israel. Soon after, Khomeini's followers stormed the American embassy
On our fellow Americans being held hostage in Iran.
and took dozens of Americans hostage. Khomeini sent a direct message to America. These people will not be released until the Shah is handed over to us. And from that moment, the hostility between America and Iran truly began. The Shah never returned to Iran again. Meanwhile, Khomeini established the Islamic Republic of Iran. But at the exact same time, another powerful leader was rising nearby in Iraq, Saddam Hussein. World leaders feared Khomeini because he openly encouraged Muslims in other countries to rise against their rulers. So with support from Arab leaders and encouragement from America, Saddam invaded Iran. The Iran-Iraq War began. For 8 horrifying years, the two nations destroyed each other. Hundreds of thousands died. Entire cities burned. Yet, despite support from much of the world, Saddam still failed to remove Khomeini from power. And shortly after the war finally ended, Khomeini died. His funeral became one of the largest funerals in human history. Millions attended. Chaos filled the streets as grieving crowds overwhelmed the funeral procession. After Khomeini's death, Iran's leader selected a student as the next supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And even today, he still rules Iran. After years of war, Iran's leaders became convinced of one thing. As long as Iran remained weak, America and Israel would never stop threatening them. And in their eyes, there was only one thing powerful enough to guarantee survival: an atomic bomb. But building a nuclear weapon was not easy. No country wanted to help Iran. Then suddenly, something changed. Iran's neighbor Pakistan became the first Islamic nuclear power in the world.
Pakistan today successfully conducted 5 nuclear tests.
And after Pakistan successfully built its atomic bomb, Pakistani nuclear scientist Abdul Qadir Khan secretly began helping Iran by providing centrifuge technology. Centrifuges are the heart of nuclear enrichment. They spin at unbelievable speeds, almost like washing machines. But instead of clothes, uranium is placed inside. At low enrichment levels, uranium can produce electricity. At very high enrichment levels, it can create a nuclear bomb. Using this technology, Iran rapidly expanded its nuclear facilities. But eventually, America discovered everything. Pakistan's bomb was tolerated because Pakistan remained a close American ally. Iran was different. Iran openly challenged America. So American leaders began warning the world that Iran was secretly trying to build nuclear weapons.
Iran ever had the knowledge to develop a nuclear weapon?
After the invasion of Iraq, many people now believe those accusations were exaggerated or false. But at the time, fear spread everywhere. America had already invaded Afghanistan on one side of Iran and Iraq on the other side. Iran was surrounded. The world believed war could begin at any moment. And then Ayatollah Khamenei made a move that shocked everyone. He issued a religious ruling of fatwa, declaring nuclear weapons forbidden in Islam. He argued that Islam forbids the killing of innocent people, women, children, even trees during war. Nuclear weapons destroy everything indiscriminately. Therefore, according to him, nuclear bombs were haram. Iran announced it had no intention of building nuclear weapons and even allowed international inspections. But inspectors noticed something important. Iran's nuclear facilities looked extremely similar to Pakistan's designs. Pressure on Pakistan exploded. Eventually, Abdul Qadir Khan publicly confessed and apologized on television. Pakistan placed him under house arrest to calm international outrage. For a while, America no longer had a clear justification to attack Iran. But one country continued pushing harder than anyone else: Israel.
Increase the pressure on Iran.
Over time, suspicion toward Iran grew again. A man named Mahmoud Mordkani, who was actually Khamenei's own nephew, publicly claimed that Khamenei's anti-nuclear fatwa was fake and based on the Islamic concept of taqiyya, hiding the truth to protect Iran. At the same time, America increased sanctions against Iran. The Iranian economy collapsed. Oil-rich Iran suddenly struggled financially. Inflation exploded. Trade became difficult. Even neighboring countries feared buying Iranian energy because of American pressure. Only a few powerful nations continued major business with Iran: China, Russia, India. Eventually, Iran became desperate for relief, and under American President Barack Obama, a historic nuclear deal was signed. Iran agreed to limit its nuclear program. America agreed to remove sanctions. For a brief moment, it seemed peace might actually happen, but one American politician fiercely opposed the deal from the beginning: Donald Trump. After becoming president, Trump canceled the Iran nuclear deal and reimposed crushing sanctions.
The United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
Iran's economy once again began collapsing.
These are the highest sanctions ever imposed on a country.
In response, Iran restarted parts of its nuclear program. Then Iranian elections brought a new hardline president to power, Ibrahim Raisi. Raisi refused about America or Israel. Under him, Iran strengthened support for anti-Israel groups across the Middle East. Tensions with Israel and Hezbollah grew dangerously high. And then
President Raisi died when their helicopter crashed.
After his death, Iran elected a much softer and calmer leader. This new leadership again insisted Iran did not want nuclear weapons and remained loyal to Khamenei's anti-nuclear fatwa. Secret negotiations between America and Iran quietly resumed, but Israel strongly opposed any peace deal. Once again, accusations began flooding the media.
Iran has never given up its quest for nuclear weapons.
Iran will never stop seeking nuclear weapons. They could build a bomb within months.
Iran has never given up its quest for nuclear weapons. Who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons? From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks.
Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time.
An initial device within months.
The same warnings repeated again and again for decades, yet no nuclear bomb officially appeared. At the same time, Iran was accused of plotting against Donald Trump and other American figures. And now, tensions between Israel and Iran have reached a dangerous new level. Important Iranian figures are being targeted. Military commanders are dying. Advisors close to the supreme leader are being killed. Because if Iran reacts too aggressively, it could finally trigger the direct American military response that many have feared for decades. And if that happens, the Islamic government created by Ayatollah Khomeini many years ago could face its greatest threat yet. Subscribe.